Okay, guys, I normally don't do this for Tier 1 patrons, but since I don't have any Tier 3 patrons yet, somebody on Discord asked me for a mirror thaumaturge. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. Let's dive in. For the ancestry for our Mirror Master, we're going to go with the Catfolk ancestry. Has that boost to dexterity and obviously charisma will help a lot with this build. And for our heritage, we're going to be going full mirror with the reflection heritage. So we are a magical copy of someone. And we don't need to make deception checks to pretend to be the person that we're a copy of unless we're interacting with people that know that person personally. Or if we do something that is known to be out of character for them. We also, of course, do get to pick reflection feats in addition to catfolk feats. And of course, we are building a thaumaturge here. And for our implements, we are of course going to want to take the mirror implement, allowing us to essentially be in two places at once. For our second implement, we're going to want to take the tome. That will give us a +1 circumstance bonus to recall knowledge checks while we're holding our tome, in addition to some other skills. That will become important later, but we'll talk about that when I get to the first teamwork reports. The third implement can basically be anything you want it to be, but I would recommend either the bell or the lantern here. The bell will help you debuff enemies in combat, but the torch will help you search around, which is very important for this build. It's up to you which one you pick here. The starting stats for this build should be Strength 14, Dexterity 14, Constitution 10, Intelligence 10, Wisdom 12, and Charisma 18. Okay, on to first level feats. First up, we've got Diverse Lore. This, of course, allows us to use recall knowledge with esoteric lore on any subject, not just the usual ones that esoteric lore covers. We'll talk more about why we need this in the teamwork reports. And for our first level ancestry feat, we're going to want to take Mirror Risen. After all, we are trying to go full mirror here. This gives us the mirror's trickery reaction, allowing us to possibly make a critical hit a regular hit or a hit into a miss. Alright, now it's time to move on to level 2. Our first feat for level 2 is going to be Esoteric Warden. This, for now, gives us some good defense. But later on, we're going to be taking a feat that will let us give this bonus to our allies. In the meantime, for the free archetype, we are going to want to take the Alter Ego dedication. Again, we're trying to go as full mirror as we can, and what better way to be a mirror than to mirror other people's roles. With this dedication, we can impersonate a cult member, cook, or other role, but never a specific individual. Thus, in most cases, we can get some information that some people might not want us to have. For general feats, first up, at level 3, we are going to want to take Ancestral Paragon for Cat's Luck. Our lowest save is going to be Reflex, so being able to roll that twice and take the better results once a day is going to help a lot. Then, of course, we are going to want to take the standard Toughness, Die Hard, and Canny Acumen for our reflex saves. And our last general feat is going to be Expeditious Search, as we will have master proficiency in perception by that point, and we need to be able to search quickly, especially if we're assuming a roll. For level 4, there isn't a great thaumaturge feat for this build at this level, so we're just going to take Breach Defenses, so we don't have to worry about any resistances that creatures we're fighting have. However, what we will need to take is on the free archetype side, In Plain Sight. This allows us to use our higher deception skill rather than stealth to avoid notice if we're in an area where the role we're impersonating wouldn't be unusual. So like if we're impersonating a cook and we're in the kitchen. We will also want to take the We're on the List archetype skill feat at this level. This allows us to use a society check in order to aid our ally in getting into places they normally wouldn't be welcome. Or really, anytime they want to make a deception check to lie or impersonate someone. We don't really need to up our intelligence in this build, but this could help a little bit. For your level 5 ancestry feat, you got a couple of choices here. If you are using a weapon that has the trip or grapple traits, you're gonna want to take Lucky Break here, making it easier to make the foes flat-footed during combat. If you're not using one of those weapons, you're gonna want to take Graceful Guidance here in order to help allies with their reflex saves. Okay, time for our first teamwork report. I want to start with diverse lore and our tome. The reason that we need the tome as our second implement is that the +1 we get to recall knowledge while we're holding our tome helps to offset the -2 we take for diverse lore. So if we're holding our tome implement, we really only take a -1 penalty to our recall knowledge check if we're thinking about something other than haunts and creatures. And our mirror implement is really going to help us when we're assuming a role with our alter ego archetype. Because remember, we can essentially be in two places at once. So while one of ourselves is assuming a role and being deceptive, the other one can be in the next room searching. Granted, whichever one is not our real self is going to be miming what our real self is doing, but that's where our high charisma and deception skill come in. Unfortunately, about the only thing we can do in combat to help the team is hit enemy weaknesses. And of course, let our allies know what those weaknesses are. At least at this level, anyway. So, at this level, we're mostly going to be helping out our team outside of combat. Next up, we have Call Implement. We're not always going to be able to take our implements with us when we're assuming a role. After all, it wouldn't make sense for a cook to be carrying around a mirror, now would it? But of course, we may need our implements when we're assuming a role. So with this, we can leave our implement up to a mile away in a safe place, and if we need it, teleport it to us. And of course, we will want to take Sound Mirror to get enemies out of our path when we're sneaking around. And of course, to make us silent. Again, at level 8, there really isn't a great teamwork option for thaumaturge feats, so we're going to be taking Sympathetic Vulnerabilities, allowing us to hit all creatures with a similar vulnerability for their weaknesses. Then of course we need Swap Reflections to help us move a ton, and even possibly trap enemies in their own reflections, thus wasting at least one of their actions. At level 9, for our ancestry feat, we're going to want to take Mirror Refuge. Sometimes when we're assuming a role, we're going to need to be places where that role wouldn't be. And this will let us hide in any mirrored surfaces that happen to be around. Thus, if we're in those types of areas and we know a creature is about to see us, we can duck into a mirror. Then it's time for Share Weakness to allow an ally to hit enemy weaknesses in addition to us. And Fake It Till You Make It will give us extra skills depending on the role we're assuming. Shared Warding will allow us to give our Esoteric Warden bonuses to all allies within 30 feet. Another great teamwork option. And Illusory Identity will let us go to even more places that we really shouldn't be. For our level 13 ancestry feat, we're going to take Black Cat Curse. So if an enemy would succeed at a saving throw, we can make them roll twice and take the worst result. It doesn't really help this build, but it will especially help the spellcasters in your party. Then, Twin Weakness will help us do even more weakness damage to enemies. And Borrow Memories will allow us to more easily ask questions regarding the role we're assuming. Okay, now it's time to talk about level 16. This is where we'll take Implement's Flight, allowing us to fly as long as we're holding an implement. Then we'll take our last feat from the Alter Ego archetype, It Was Me All Along. In some situations, that may be able to help us get the foe flat-footed, thus more easily hitting their weaknesses. Our last ancestry feat for this build is going to be redirect attention. Sometimes people might find out who we are, even when we're assuming a role. That might make them want to come after us. But with this feat, if they use a scrying effect, there is a chance that that effect targets our original instead of us. So they might go after that individual instead of us. At level 18, we'll take Implement's Assault, allowing us to hit every enemy within 30 feet of us at full attack bonus. Then we'll also take the Rogue Dedication at this level. That will give us a few more skills. And finally, for level 20, we're going to start with Ubiquitous Weakness. This will allow all of our allies within 30 feet to benefit from our mortal weakness when we exploit vulnerability. And for the final feat for this build, you do have a choice. You can either take Skill Mastery if you need even more skills, or you can take Sneak Attacker if you want a little bit extra damage to flat-footed enemies. For the second teamwork report, not much has changed since the last teamwork report when it comes to out of combat. We are just better out of combat when it comes to deceiving people, but a lot has changed since then when it comes to combat. Now we are a much better team player when it comes to combat, as we can make it so all our allies can hit enemy weaknesses, and we can give them bonuses from Esoteric Warden. In addition, we can also hit enemies for double weakness damage if we hit. And of course, Recall Knowledge is always important. But we were pretty good at that even from level 1. Bottom line is, at this level, you want to be using your Exploit Vulnerability, and when you do hit a mortal weakness, you want to be sharing that with your allies, as well as using Esoteric Warden to protect your team. Alright guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Pathfinder 2e teamwork content. You can also check out the Patreon page for Google Sheets for this build and a whole bunch of other builds. Link is in the description. If you guys want to learn more about the Alter Ego archetype, you can check out this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, teamwork is vital.